You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
What's the level of pump right now, Brian Hartman, to talk some baseball with the great Chris Burke? I want to know, as we welcome you on a Thursday edition, fired up, focus, and prepare. Brian, where are you? Talk to me. Let's get this party started.
Dixie is pump. I know that.
Dixie is all kind. Dixie loves that baseball. Like there, and I hope Dixie's right. I hope there's nothing to worry about with this baseball team, and there's nothing to see here, and I don't know that. I don't not know that, but I sure don't know that. But Dixon knows it. Dixon told me he knows it. So,
I also know that Arkansas State beat Arkansas the other day.
That's right.
LSU lost, I think, to McNeese State. And poor South Carolina, they lost to that Queen College from North Carolina that had never beaten a high major team before. And they went into Columbia and beat them last night. That poor Paul Maneri. Talk about a bad hire and a guy in a bad spot. It can always be a lot worse.
Ain't that the truth? And ain't that a shame? But here we are. Fired up, focused, and prepared with you. Pretty Jack, pretty Pack. Pretty excited to be alongside. It is a Thursday. It is raining here. It's It's like a kind of a cold, warm rain. Cold rain, warm rain. But we're pretty pumped today. So, how about it? Let's fire this thing up. Let's focus it. Let's prepare it. Matt Summer saying, like Dr. ZDDS, is really becoming whatever the word is. He's a fly in my ointment. He says, you're comparing losing midweek games to losing a weekend series. Not the same. Huh?
No, it's not exactly the same, but all teams are kind of struggling right now.
Yep.
So when you barely practice for a month, playing in cold, bad weather, all these teams will be totally different in 2 months.
Baseball is a sample size sport. Just like in the first week of the season when a light-hitting right fielder in Major League Baseball gets off to a great start. He's 4 for 4 in the first series. But it's not real. He'll end up hitting 225 on the year. At the end of June, he'll be sitting there with like 8 home runs, even though he hit 3 in the first series. Come on. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. So let's all relax, okay? Second thing is, Chris Burke's going to join us. And then the great Will Heflin's going to join us. Will Heflin had, on his weekend rotation weekly preview this week, he had friend of the program, friend of one, friend of all, the great Evan Russell on with him. And Evan said he's moderately concerned about this team, Matt, because there's some holes in the lineup. And he's concerned about that. He says it out loud. We might play that as part of our third hour today. But I do want to encourage you to go check out what Willie Baby's doing. And Matt will be with Willie on that podcast as well. And they're going to produce all kinds of content as we go along. So that's the exciting thing, Matt, is that baseball season's in front of us. And this is going to be fun.
No, I think so. There's, and they've got plenty of talent and plenty of different lineup combinations that I think they'll be able to use and fill those holes that are currently in their lineup. So,
and this Levi Clark thing is something I want to talk about with Berkey, because once they figure you out, they figure you out, and that's got to be very hard for that kid. Batting him fourth, Matt, seems like you're only augmenting the pressure on him. Because every time he comes to bat now, everybody sees him. And generally, it's going to be with ducks on the pond in our offense. Or do you leave him there, Matt, and just let him fight through it? What are you going to do with him?
I kind of leave him there for a little bit longer because, to put him there, day one and you kind of have high expectations for him.
Yep.
So I'd leave him there for at least through another weekend or two.
By the way, shout out
I think there's a special bat there. You just gotta clean some stuff up and figure out how to hit fastballs up in the zone.
Shout out to our musicologists out there, Sasquatch over here on the YouTube chat, which Brian is a frequent lurker on, quotes a Vern Gosdin tune. Is it raining at your house? The great Vern Gosdin, which is extremely next level. But we'll go to the phones. We're going to get as many people in here as humanly possible. Chris Burke will join us on the other side. He's really the phone call. We're trying to get our minds around what happened Tuesday night with Missouri. Matt, now that we're a day and a half away from it, and we were on in the wee small hours of Wednesday on Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime, Brian tells me that's our last late night foray into the greatness that is Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. Matt, this basketball team just makes zero sense to me, as in zero. I was really starting to believe, Matt. I really was.
Or they make a ton of sense, and this is just who they are. They're just going to be wildly inconsistent and go in and out a couple of times throughout every game. That's just kind of who they are. I mean, when you're so reliant on two guys to carry you, one of them being a freshman, and the other being kind of a guy that's kind of forced to play point, you're just gonna be inconsistent, and that's. You played a team that's going to make the tournament that was playing at home, and they were kind of desperate, and they had two guys go off.
Yep. 865-200-5402 is the number. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us, we'll take calls later on. But the mid-major thing is a very interesting thing to one of the things I want to get into with Berkey on the other side, because mid-major baseball in the portal era, Matt, while it feels like in basketball, it feels like mid-major basketball has slipped. Mid-major baseball feels like it's gotten better in the portal era. And I don't know the reason for that. It's an interesting thing, though. It feels like these mid-major teams are better, Matt, in the portal era. Even though, and I hate saying but even though we picked a guy off that's eventually going to be our catcher, right, when he gets healthy, that kid that was all league in the MAC, is that a fair assumption, Matt, that eventually he catches for us?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, especially if Stonewall's throwing still is an issue. Yeah, I definitely think.
Tony's beanie, yeah.
I just think there's a lot more talent in college baseball overall now.
Yes.
You have, the draft has been significantly shrunk. You have NIL keeps some guys around.
Yep.
And, there's just more talent in the sport. And it's a sport where there's a lot of late developing guys and that size component and that matters in a lot of other sports doesn't really apply as much to baseball. So you can find players at any level.
No question. People are wondering, they want me to repeat what I said yesterday about, first of all, there are no Chinese connections to watch college baseball because it's not a viewed enough sport. No offense to college baseball. I'm not trying to rip Berkey, but you're not going to find people restreaming college baseball games. Now, you might find somebody putting it on YouTube live. So you might want to Google up Tennessee baseball on YouTube, and maybe somebody's got it there. That's fine. But what I would suggest you do this weekend, I'm going to put it in the blog tomorrow, is the weekend series is going to be on Flow Sports, which I call Hustle and Flow Sports because I'm a simpleton. But it's going to be on Flow Sports, and we got a good workaround from somebody in the audience last year. Laura and I did it. Matt, do you remember a couple years ago what that site was on that it was on? Was it Flow Sports or something else? There was something, because they've been on these shall we say?
It was Flow Sports.
Okay.
2 years ago. Last year it was the Houston Astros YouTube page.
There you go. So. Okay. Thank you. So, Flow Sports, and they got all these, avant-garde weird sports. Hustle and Flow Sports. So here's what we do. You go today to whatever your grocery store of choice is, or you go to whatever drugstore you go to, and you get one of those prepaid cards. And you get one for like $20. What's it cost, guys, to get Hustle and Flow this weekend? Do you guys know? Like $20.
I think it's like 20 or $25 for the monthly thing.
Yeah, whatever it is. You get a $25 card and put it on there. Now, what they want to do is they want you to sign up and then forget it's there. That's why they do this. There's money in it for that. There's money in it for them to do this. It's kind of like why Ronda Rousey fought the other night with Gina Carano on Saturday night, and Nashville Lee's out there, betting on it. Two old women out there fighting. No offense to Nashville Lee, but
I guarantee you, there's somebody listening who will go to sign up for the Flow Sports for this weekend and realize that they've been paying for it for 2 years.
There you go.
And that's the whole point. That's the hustle part.
And that's the hustle and
they'll
flow.
forget their password.
That's right, Bri. That's my favorite thing, Bri, is when you go to one of these sites and your freaking password. Like last night, I was trying to watch my Flyers lose a really bad hockey game over on ESPN Plus, and I went to click on it, and they asked for my damn credentials again, and it really urinated me off because nobody has a memory anymore. And you get 1 million passwords for 1 million different sites. And the Google thing is supposed to keep the key, or when you have the iPhone, you just punch in the whatever your number code is, and it's supposed to remember it, of course, but it doesn't. But I digress. Get you a $25 card or whatever it is. Put it in there one time. It's a nice workaround. You'll thank me later. But there are no Chinese streams because not enough people are watching college baseball. That said, we watch it. We love it. We embrace it. We're for it, not against it. And Chris Burke joins on the other side. And I celebrate the fact, I celebrate my love. Today I celebrate my love for the great Chris Burke with some on-air love with him, Roberta Flack and Donnie Hathaway. That midnight sun is going to come shining through, my good friend, when Burke gets on here and shares some on-air love with us as we continue right after this. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage are pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial, and we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at pipewrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof, T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Please drink responsibly. Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall. You know, I was singing Today I Celebrate My Love for You, Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway, to Burke with my guitar when he picked up. And I said, Berkey, what do you think of that? And Dixon, he said, well, that's you, Basilio. He said, I got no words for that. I said, has anybody ever brought you on and serenaded you? And he said, no, but you didn't really either. You're like speaking it like a word poet. But I love Burke. Burke's a member of our family. He's a guy that I met when he was a young pup, wet behind the ears at UT, and he came out one day and saw me doing a radio show. He listened to a show. He said, hey, I want to do this one day. And look at him. Look at you, Berkey. Shining like the sun in the middle of the day. Yay, 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 yay. Now a new podcast out with Rooney called D1 Daily.
Mike Gold. It's called Berkey and Mike Gold. That's what it's called.
It's called D1 Daily. And they're on every day. You guys do it every day, D1 Daily?
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? If it was called D1 Daily to be on every day.
Yeah.
And currently we're not, but we're efforting to be more of what our title claims us to be. So I appreciate you pointing that out. It was made to our attention that you really can't call yourself D1 Daily and be on twice a week.
Sure you can.
So, yeah, I mean, you can. It just makes you a hypocrite or makes you fake or phony or however you want to call that. So
I do it every day.
We don't want to be that. We don't want to be that.
I misrepresent.
We're going to go 5 days a week.
I misrepresent myself every day. Berkey, before we get started, don't you find it fun that we're going to have a couple of freshman quarterbacks this year? Aren't you embracing the fun? Because I'm holding up my Schaefer-Ains shirt. Dixon's embracing the fun. Cinco's embracing the fun. I'm taking everybody back to 2004 with my Schaefer-Ains shirt. Schaefer and Ains are the quarterbacks to have when you're having more than one. And Berkey, you have to admit, Berkey, that this is going to be fun. You have to admit it.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fun. I think what's going to be tough is, it's so hard to deal with quarterback competitions because, they just never get hit in practice. And so It'd be interesting if they do some live components to it because, man, it's, we know 7-on-7 is not a great indicator. We know practice cannot be a great indicator. Like, you don't really ever know until the quarterback knows he's actually allowed to get hit. So it'll be interesting to see if they allow some of that within the context of the competition.
Matt, will they do that? Will they allow these guys to get hit a little bit in camp just to see what they have? They almost have to, don't they, Matt?
No, I don't think the quarterbacks will get hit at all. No chance.
Don't you almost have to? Because really what we've learned here, we learned it from the Nico era, you really don't know what you have till it gets live, till you can get hit. No,
that's true, and that's why you see even great quarterback coaches make their mistake with who they start at times. But when you only have really two scholarship quarterbacks, it's you can't risk them getting hurt.
Berkey, what's your level of pump right now, and how weird is it for you that we don't have Tony Vols over on our bench? How weird is that to you, man? And that they plucked him away from college baseball, man. How crazy is that?
It is weird. It's definitely weird. I think just watching the games and everything feels the same until they pan to the dugout. And Tony's not sitting there with his 3 pieces of tape and, looking dialed in like he always was. So it's interesting. I think Josh has a really talented team. I think he's got a ton of momentum. I think, obviously, he's got an incredible state-of-the-art stadium. He's got all these things going for him. But it wasn't the easiest roster to take over just because there's so few established pieces. And there's also so many pieces that you like and you want to give chances to, but then that can, I was listening to your open talking about sample size. I was doing the math today. Tennessee has started 14 different position players, and that's without Grimmer or Wright starting yet. So, that's a lot of people to try to figure out what your best 9 is. And, some coaches would die to have the depth that Tennessee has, and I think you'd rather have depth than not have it. But the challenge with that is it's hard to have a long leash with guys because there's somebody, standing 3 three people down from you in the dugout that's super talented too, that you want to see if they can get it done. And baseball is a hard sport to just do it now.
Yep.
Right. It's just not the way it's designed. So I think that's one of his biggest challenges is using these first 20 games to try to give enough guys enough sample size to when he gets in the conference. And really, I think it was Baton Rouge last year when Tony finally said, all right, this is our team. We're going to play these guys. That's what it's going to be.
People forget.
And, we could argue that down the stretch, guys like Bargo and Chapman were struggling so much that maybe he should have tried some other people down the stretch. But once he decided who he was going with, he didn't waver. And I believe that was mid to late April.
Amen to that. Such a long season. Look, we're talking to Berkey now in February. My goal is to be talking to him in mid-June. That's my goal. And that should be Tennessee's goal. When you have that new stadium and you have the players on their roster they have, and look, everything counts. But let's face it. Like I asked Matt the other day, what happens if they go to Texas and get whacked? He goes, yeah, what happens? What happens if they get down there and don't hit the baseball and lose 3 games? And okay. It doesn't diminish what they have on their roster. Berkey, here's the thing though. Last year the early guy, and I was told by somebody very familiar with Elander that they don't think he'll be one of these panic guys like the early guy last year. The word is from inside their program, he started panicking and changing things around, and they ended up going through a really rough stretch there at A&M. Elander's not going to do that. Elander knows these kids. He's been through it, right? He's not going to react that way, even if they have a real slow start.
No, I don't think so. I think Josh is, there's definitely some things about Josh that have to be proven, but I think the things that we do know about Josh, which is why so many people were passionate about him getting this opportunity, is that he is very steady as a person.
There you go.
And so just because the lineup changes doesn't mean he's going to panic. Like, the truth is, Tony messed with the lineup a lot. Tony's genius was that he played a lot of different people. That's how he's had such a small transfer rate, because people stay there. I mean, you think about Ariel Antigua still being there. There's so many guys.
Don't remind me.
Grimmer is still there, right? I mean, there's Newstrom is still there. Guys that Abernathy, guys stay because he keeps them in the mix enough. And so Josh is going to keep that going. So I think there's a difference between messing with something that's not quite clicking and panicking. I think the panicking comes when behind the scenes kids feel like you've lost trust or you don't believe in them or you're freaking out and crashing out every time they don't perform well. And I don't see that coming from Josh.
The great Chris Burke joining. We're breaking it down scientifically, moving right to left. Berkey, what's up with all these SEC powers? And Matt alluded to this earlier. Losing these mid-major games, is that more indicative of what's happening at the sport at the SEC level, how it's a slow burn at this level, or in terms of just getting into the season? Or is mid-major baseball getting better?
It's hard to completely quantify that. I mean, I think it would be easy to look at last year and look at Omaha last year and say, well, man, we had 8 teams from 7 different conferences and say, well, there's never been more parity in the sport. Maybe that's true. But just 2 years ago, it was 8 teams from 2 different conferences, the ACC and SEC. So I think it's hard to quantify that this early in the year. But, you look at UTSA, you look at Coastal Carolina, you look at Southern Miss, look at UCSB, you look at Dallas Baptist. There's a lot of Troy beat Georgia last night. There's a lot of non-Power 4 baseball that's being played at a pretty high level. And, there's 300-something Division I baseball teams. I heard Dixon talking about it. It is a sport where we have more players in college baseball, more older players in college baseball. It's also a skill sport. I can't put my hands on you. It's a hand-eye coordination sport. So I think the parity piece has always been a little bit more in baseball than in basketball and football. I also think you look at the timing of some of these losses, and we're now in we're about to play the third weekend of the season. So this is you're 8-10 games into the season, and some of these teams have played 5 games a week for the first couple weeks. And then all of a sudden, maybe they just don't answer the bell in the middle of the week. Maybe some of the newness is worn off. Maybe the grind has settled in a little bit. So, there's a lot of factors you could look to. But, I heard somebody say earlier that, it's not the same to lose to a mid-major on a weekday as the weekend. That's true. You're not throwing your best pitchers. But, some teams do save their best arms to play a big Power 4 team. But for the most part, those conference guys aren't throwing their best pitchers either. So, I think for the most part, anytime LSU loses to McNeese State, that's a big upset. Because whoever LSU's throwing is still more talented than whoever McNeese State's throwing. So, it's not nothing. It's not a huge alarm either. But it is a sport where the parity is all the difference between the have and the have-nots is just closer than it is in basketball and football.
Matt Dixon, jump in with the great Chris Burke, who we bow our head when he graces us with a few minutes. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Berkey, great to talk to you as always. We've kind of talked about these early season games and we got poor weather, the practice time before the season. There's not a whole lot of run up in baseball. At what point into the season do you think you have a good enough sample size of a team or of a roster? Is it 20 games, 30 games? Because really, I don't think there's a sport where teams change more during a season than college baseball.
That's probably fair. I think the easiest thing I would say is halfway through conference play. You say, give me 5 weekends into SEC play, and I feel like I know what I'm looking at. And you guys, maybe you have me on then, and I'll make some predictions, and you guys can call me out on my swings and misses. But even last year, like you say, okay, who ended up being the SEC tournament champion? Vanderbilt. Who ended up being the regular season champion? Texas. If you'd have asked me midway through the season what I thought of those teams, I wasn't super high on either one of them. Because their offenses just seemed so limited. Yet they both had amazing runs throughout the course of the year. But if you look at the postseason, they still fell flat, right? Now, the opposite of that would be if you asked me about Louisville midway through last year, I'd have said, no, there's just not enough pitching. And they figured it out. They found 5 arms that could get it done, and they ended up playing in the Final Four. But I think by the time you get midway through conference play, the coaches have told you who their best 17 players are. You find out who the best 5 or 6 arms are. You find out who the best, 8 to 10 bats are, and that's who's playing on the weekend. And so at that point, as an analyst, you're going, okay, is the offense dynamic enough? Is the pitching staff, do they have enough swing and miss? Do they have enough different types of options? And then you also can start to figure out what people's health is. Some people lose people as the season goes on and things like that. But it really is a sport. Now, I don't need that much time to figure out where UCLA is or Texas this year or LSU this year. I feel very sure about those 3 teams already. But, it's early enough where I wouldn't put my mortgage on it. But I do feel like those 3 teams are kind of different. Number one, they have players with a lot of track record. And number 2, there's just so much high-end star power there that it's just hard to see it going any other way.
It's interesting what Matt talked about, because if you want to make a little football analogy here, since everything's viewed through the football lens just about in our part of the country, it's almost like that mid-season of the SEC baseball season feels like the 5th weekend of college football. Because in college football, you have to have a month to see what everybody has. You have no clue what people have. You get 4 or 5 weeks into that thing, you get a pretty good sense of what's on each roster. And a great case in point is here locally from watching Tennessee against Kent State. You say, oh, my God, they're going to struggle at catcher. They're going to struggle with the running game. And most people don't understand that Tennessee's got a MAC kid waiting in the wings who probably ends up being their catcher. They probably solidify a couple other positions with a couple other moves, and that goes for here, there, and everywhere. All these coaches across this league and across the power leagues, Berkey, feel like they're still tinkering right now.
Yeah, and again, that's where just to steal a Basilioism, all politics are local, is that's where Elander's tinkering, but he has so many good players. It's most guys are trying to figure out who's going to DH, who's going to platoon in left or right field, and then maybe I'm working with two catchers or something. Like there might be three spots in their lineup that they're I'm not certain about. I mean, Dixie, if I ask you to put tell me who should play second, tell me who the whole outfield should be, and tell me who the catcher and first base like do you feel certain about? I mean, for me, it's like, other than knowing Henry Ford and Blaine Brown have to hit and probably Myatt, and then that Manny Marin's going to be your shortstop, what else do you know right now, Dixon? Just position player group wise.
I mean, Reese Chapman in right. I think it'll be hard to get Abernathy out of center.
That's my boy right there.
And they put Clark at first base and had him batting third really, up until the last couple of games, but he's really struggled. So, I think all those scenarios that you just named are what he's showing us he thinks should happen. But there's enough talented players that Levi Clark they think is going to be a star. But at some point when you're on a roster like that, when there's this many good players,
you got to play, you got to produce.
You don't get forever.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's a sample size sport, Burke. Again, like if you look at like the minor league level, if that's where a kid like that would be, he'd get 120 at bats to work it out. Well, here 120 at bats is constitutes a good long part of your season. That's the difference here. You got to do it at this level. You can't just look
not
like
quite as much protection in the order, at least right now, as there has been in past years too.
That's interesting.
I've got
Go ahead, Brian.
Question about the pitching rotation. It never looks the same at the end of the season. I'm talking about the weekend pitching rotation. It hardly ever looks the same at the end of the season that it does the first. Do you think that it's going to look like you have the same order, same guy starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday? That would be the help me out here, the opening pitcher, Tegan Coons, and then Landon Mack, and then Henry Blanco. Do you think that's what it's going to look like in the Oklahoma series?
I think, let's just say, assuming everybody stays healthy, I really like what they have 1, 2, and 3. I love a veteran left-hander pitching on Sunday to save or win or sweep your weekend. You got two very sexy draft prospects going 1 and 2 that can both post double-digit strikeout kind of days, and then you got people that you can piggyback with them with Arvidsson and Krenzel, and of course Frederick has shown some flashes. I know Rudy's kind of had some moments, but he's super talented too. And then, it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Appenzeller. Do they want to just leave him on Tuesdays, or are they going to run him out there on the weekends? My guess is we didn't see him on Sunday because it was just so cold. And, I think they want to be very, very careful with him because he's, got a chance to be a really, really big time prospect. But you only need 6 or 7 guys. And when you get to Omaha, you only need 5, 6 tops. So, there's all the makings, similar to the lineup, there's all the makings of an Omaha team on this roster. But again, it's none of those guys are just slam dunk track record stars at this point in their career, especially in this conference. And so it's just gonna take a while to figure out exactly how those pieces fit. But to answer your question specifically, I like the way the rotation's lined up, and Landon Mack has been every bit as good as advertised.
Berkey, the issue with this team is not that pitching staff. That's for damn sure. And then seeing Arvidsson over the weekend, Matt, certainly when you start doing your math, he's one of your 5. The Appenzeller guy, Matt, I mean, there's 5 right there, Matt. Hello. I'll hold. Yeah. If you put those 5 in my hand.
Blaine Brown's kind of an intriguing guy that started these midweek games and pitched an inning. But that's a lefty arm. Him and Appenzeller are two guys that you can you got to figure out a role for on weekends. But no, the arms aren't the issue. They've got plenty of them and a variety of different arms too, with the kind of submariner, and then just some different stuff they haven't necessarily had in the past. Mm-hmm. But no, the questions I have through the early part of the season are definitely at the plate, and in the lineup, and they've got to get some guys healthy, and then kind of see who takes the spots.
Berkey, where do you see the Vols compared to the SEC? Like, obviously, you're a global guy. You look at the sport globally, and you and Rooney are a.k.a. Mike Gold, one of the great bald heads in all of sports, commentating along with me. I used to look at the guy and think, man, what a pasty white guy. Now I look at him and I think, what a freaking good-looking guy. I love his hairstyle. And he's just an all-around vat of knowledge as well. He's like a sponge for the sport. You two guys are going to feed off each other really well. And he's got like a sneaky good personality. What's the name of that podcast again, Berkey, y'all are doing?
D1 Semi-Daily.
And where do we find D1 Daily? Where do we find it?
D1.com, D1baseball.com.
Do you have to be a subscriber to D1 Baseball to listen?
No, it is free for you, Tony.
So I like things that are free 99, Berkey. I work in radio and have for a long, long time. Free 99 is a great price. Berkey, tell me about the rest of the league. Your read on the league, the depth of the league compared to past years. Is this a gathering storm league? Is it a tepid league this year? We've seen years where it's better than others. Where does it stack up in your mind?
It's loaded. I mean, I think, like I said, I think LSU and Texas win the whole thing good. Just uber talented. Both those teams brought back a big chunk of their roster and then added like real difference makers in the portal. And then there's a group like Mississippi State, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida. I would put in a next tier right now that like there's pieces of their team I really, really like. I really, really think Florida has a high upside. I'm still not like their weekend arms are really talented, but Liam Peterson makes me nervous. If I knew he was going to be the best version of himself, I maybe would even put Florida up there in that upper tier. Arkansas. They've been a little goofy. They lost to Arkansas State 2 days ago, and then beat them 1-0 yesterday. But then they've also had some high highs. But Arkansas's won 18 games or more 8 straight years in the league. So I think it's a little bit like Tennessee basketball. Like you're going to look up, and they're going to be a top 4 team in the league, whether you love their team or don't love their team.
That's right. It ain't going to look pretty. Rick Barnes basketball isn't always going to look pretty, but they're going to stack wins, right?
That's right. They've got a formula that's better than most of the league. That's just the reality of Arkansas.
Yep.
And the rankings right now at D1, I like to give those guys a hard time and call their rankings fake because they're just it's just predictions. There's nothing ranked about it. But like they've got Mississippi State 4th, and is there a scenario where Mississippi State's roster could be a top 4 roster in the country? Yes, but it just feels like a big gamble on some pieces there. That being said, if you watch their weekend arms, and Ace Reese might be the best hitter in the league, like there's definitely some things to like about them. Auburn's got a really good offense, and they got a portal kid, this Marciano kid from Virginia Tech that's been lights out so far. And so, that would be the next group. And then you got Tennessee and Georgia and Ole Miss and Kentucky are kind of that next group. Vanderbilt would be in that next group for me, even though Vanderbilt is slugging this year in a way that is very different for Vanderbilt.
Stop it.
Brody
Stop
Johnston,
it.
Logan Johnstone, and Braden Holcomb are like, whoa, Vanderbilt's got some pop this year.
Hey, man, if Vanderbilt beats us in baseball after what's happened in football and basketball, I don't mean to yell over Berkey, who I love, but that's
we won in basketball, Tony. We beat them in basketball.
Oh, that's
Calm
right.
down.
That's right. I forgot.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that football thing just has such
It carried over.
Thank you. Berkey joins.
Football carried over. Football is such a beatdown, it's carried over. It's colored your view.
No, Berkey, Dixon, do you think that's an interesting thing that Berkey has the Vols third tier in the SEC, but as a third tier SEC team, you're still very capable of getting to Omaha and making noise at Omaha. We've seen it before in this league. Didn't Ole Miss a few years back, guys, scratch in as like the last team in the field and go on and win the whole thing, which is indicative of how good this league is?
Yes. If you survive the SEC and are just in the tournament, even if you're not a host, you're good enough to make Omaha.
It's such an interesting thing. It's such an interesting – and Berkey,
I failed to mention Oklahoma too, Tony. Oklahoma's weekend rotation and the way they swept through their weekend at Globe Life has Oklahoma certain. I wouldn't put them in the top tier, but I'd put them in the middle tier.
Yep, it's interesting. So Berkey, this weekend, how big of a test is it for Tennessee? Obviously, some of these teams have lost midweek games, and a few of them have had loud wins so far, including that Arizona State bunch we're going to see Saturday. The kid from UCLA, the shortstop, I love. I love to see him in a Phillies uniform. It's not going to happen because they're not going to select that high. Well, at least they shouldn't. But Berkey, what do you make of this weekend?
Well, it's a big test. It's a really big test. I think this is one of those things. The perfect time for Tennessee. Get away from home.
Mm-hmm.
This is, to me, that first road trip can be very galvanizing for your group.
Mm-hmm.
You experienced some real adversity last weekend. You kind of carried that over into a midweek game that was 1-0 headed to the seventh inning. And, if I was Josh Elander, I'd say, man, this is the perfect time to get on the road. Let me see who's going to establish themselves as the alpha of this team and this dugout. Just from a standpoint, again, baseball's not a rah-rah, play with over effort or over emotion. By the same token, you do need a voice in the room. You do need somebody that sets the tone on how you're going to prepare and how you're going to handle adversity and who's going to be the guy that people look to from a effort and energy standpoint on a daily basis. Not because that necessarily is what impacts who scores more runs that day, but just because that's the way your team is going to kind of take their identity. And so who is that guy? Who's going to emerge? And I think sometimes that first road trip, you get a little bit of that feel. Now, they're not in somebody else's building. It's a neutral site, but I still think it's probably a good time for that team to get away. And then I think, a great thing about it is, okay, here's number one. Like Tennessee's, you still could probably go dude for dude, and John Savage may take more of Tennessee's player than his players. Like, that wouldn't be shocking to me if you went like 1 through 25. But as far as the top end of the roster, UCLA's position player group is just so old, mature, and established, and they have the best player in the country. And so, like, you get to see your Tennessee, you go, okay, here's number one. Where, how do we? If you're speaking from a Tennessee perspective, they're used to being that team. And now you're looking across the diamond, looking at the team that everybody's talking about. So I think it's a really interesting. When was the last time Tennessee really was in a mold where they were looking across the field and, somebody would say that the other team was more talented or at least as talented? That doesn't happen very often.
Matt, what do you say?
A couple times a year in conference play, that's it.
Yep. So this weekend, he calls it a litmus test. Matt, do you agree?
Yeah, and I think that's better for this team, and especially Elander this early in his tenure to not be the team that everybody circles and looks to beat like Vitello's teams were the last couple of years, and like we've talked about this week, like Rick Barnes and the basketball team is they're just a signature opponent. I think it will be better for this team right now to kind of not be that and to grow into being kind of who they are, as opposed to having all these accolades and having teams come at them like they're the Tennessee team of the past couple of years. I think that's good for them. Baseball
feels like a slow burn sport too, which is, I was talking to the great Will Heflin the other day, and he said, I want to be playing my best baseball at the end of the year. I don't want to peak in February. I'd rather have a team like this that just kind of has to sort of find its way and feel its way and Sort of like what Matt's saying. You're not, you're just kind of a solid team with great pitching. And then you hope some bats come online, and you hope your defense cooperates enough to do what you need to do. It's going to be fun to watch, Berkey.
Yeah, it will be. This kid, something to watch for. This kid, Redeman for UCLA.
Yep.
Transfer from San Diego, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to show you like ace kind of stuff. Now, it's not like 97 to 100, crazy Chase Dolander kind of stuff, but it's top of the zone, swing and miss.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real Friday night guy. So to me, if you're Josh Aylander and you're starting, you're attacking this game with, can Coons and Arvidsson, can we win this game 4-3? He's going to throw a fastball up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tennessee's going to have some chances to hit the ball in the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
But the odds of getting, to the 6 or 8 run mark are probably pretty slim. So it's going to have you're playing at a major league stadium, so home runs aren't easy to come by. I mean, the ball gets out of that park. It's not like it's Charles Schwab Field where it's blowing in miles and miles an hour, but it's still, there's no cheapies there. But I think it's got a chance to be a classic. The one thing you haven't talked a ton about with Tennessee, they're fielding 982. They're playing good defense from a air standpoint. I know Henry Ford's had some moments at third base, but they're playing pretty good defense. So if they can, limit the free passes, I think their formula here is to try to win something like a 4-3 kind of ball game.
Well, I've already got poor Levi Clark's line, who I love and have served all these years. I love Levi Clark. I think he's going to be a fine player. The way he's going, Matt, this weekend, I'm going to put him down for 4 punches on Friday night. I mean, I hate to say it.
That's the best thing you could say about him is for you to just totally no-sell him.
Yes, I'm no-selling him.
Poor Kyle Booker still hadn't recovered from the kiss of death you gave him.
Berkey, you doing anything this weekend, broadcasting-wise?
No, I'm hanging out. I got some kids stuff we got to do.
I love you, man. What's your first?
We really don't come on air until conference play. So I'll see you guys. My first conference games are Mississippi State at Arkansas.
We're going to use you, not lose you along the way, just to kind of keep you sharp.
Okay.
Because you're supposed to be doing a podcast. It's daily.
Berkey, have you been to the new stadium since it's been kind of
Great
finished?
question. I was going to ask him that. Yep.
So I was there in January with my kid, and it was pretty close to done. I mean, they didn't have all the final touches in those suites, but they were all up, and man, it's something, isn't it?
Hey, Berkey, you're not going to say this on the air. I wrote it in the blog today. I don't care to embarrass him or not embarrass him. First of all, Sean Sinclair said his name ought to be on the wall in the outfield. Sean Sinclair's right. He says it frequently on here. Cinco, I appreciate you doing that. Berkey, it can be said that when Tony got the job, Burke's not going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Tony called Chris, show me the designs, what you think we ought to do for the stadium, because Tony respected Chris. And I'm not going to say how much, but there are some touches in that stadium that Chris wanted. And I'll take you back 7, 8, 9 years ago. Chris was on here saying it was heartily sad that Tennessee had in a 16-team league the 15th best facility, and it needed to change. And Tony linked arms with Chris. And Berkey, that's a hell of a stadium you guys designed. And Tony told me that you were right in the middle of it. But if you want to deny it, deny it. But that you guys did a great job on that stadium. And Danny White and his crew did a great job of seeing it through to fruition.
Well, I don't get any of the credit, and that's not false humility. I don't. I certainly wanted it and hoped we would get it. And
hope the stadium. Said
yes. As much to anybody that asked me, but Tony and his crew and Danny and all those guys, they get all the credit, and it looks beautiful.
Awesome.
again, the one thing that I kept saying along the line is we have the best football stadium. We have as big a basketball arena as there is in the country. Why would our baseball stadium not be in line? And
Yes.
once we got a world-class baseball program in the modern era, our school delivered. And I'm just grateful for that because I think we have the best fan base, and now they get to celebrate such a great sport in a world-class facility. And that makes the sport even better because the moments feel even bigger. And I think what's really neat about the stadium is they figured out a way to make it as big and modern and revenue generating as it needs to be and put all the different places for, grilling out and
Yes.
students and nightlife if you're there just to kind of enjoy your evening. But then they haven't lost the seats for the diehards, and it's still so close to the field that there's not a bad seat in the stadium, and it still has the impact on the opponent that it always had because it's so right on top of you. So I think they did a fantastic job, and man, does it look good! I'll be there for the LSU series, and I'm looking forward to see it in all its glory that weekend.
I'm gonna come up and hug your neck.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something, Berkey. You are going to be thrilled when you feel that thing with people in it when you're there. Matt, say a word about it for the people that haven't been, because it truly is just a wonderful, and I like the term celebrate, because it felt so celebratory that opening night when I went with my family. The term celebrate is a great word because you truly do, when you walk in that ballpark now, you truly are celebrating a great sport. Matt, how wonderful is it to be in that place from what it used to be?
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you walk in and you're down there at the concourse, it still feels like the old stadium, like the interior there. And I kind of like that because it's like a really nice reminder of where the program was and kind of where it is. So, but no, it's absolutely incredible.
And to your point, Matt,
I can't wait for these big SEC series to see them have the fire marshals look the other way and just jam pack that thing with standing room only.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Because when they jam 11, 12,000 people, which is what they do up there on that upper area, and it looks like Moses is coming at the Red Sea back in the day. Berkey, I love you. I appreciate you. Are you worried about our basketball team, Berkey? Are they urinating you off right now as a sportsman? Did that game offend your senses the other night at Missouri?
Well, my next door neighbor, one of my dear friends, is kind of a fake Missouri fan. I always laugh at him because he says "we" when he talks about Missouri, that he doesn't even own a shirt from the school.
Interesting.
But anyway, I have to put up with him and his act. So I don't. And we lost twice to Kentucky. Other than that, I love this team.
Well, you're certainly suited as well. They're the most Jekyll and Hyde. It's like Sybil playing basketball. I love you.
No, it really is a blood and guts team.
Yeah.
Obviously we all know they could have used one more scorer.
Yep.
But they don't have that. What I just appreciate about Rick's teams is, and again, it can drive you nuts when sometimes the offense gets stuck in the mud. But they do all the things that if you've ever coached the sport, you try to get your players to value. And he does such an amazing job of getting kids to play hard, to play together, to play defense, to rebound the basketball, to fight for loose balls. Like there's just the way he produces such a blood and guts team every year that value all the things that are the toughest parts of the sport really speaks to my kind of basketball soul. That being said, I do like the ball going in the basket. That is fun to watch. And, man, it would be nice to have one more score. But I still think this team gets to the second weekend. I really do.
Berkey, I love you. I love your show. I can't wait till you guys start broadcasting. Thank you so much, man, for blessing us.
I appreciate it. Always a blast, bro. Appreciate y'all.
My best to you and your family as well. The great Chris Burke, you bow your head when you say thy name. My name's Tony Basilio. This is Matt Dixon's along with us, and Brian Hartman. If you have a thought on anything you heard from Chris, we can jump in. We're going to have Heflin a little later on in the next hour. But from where this program came from to where it is right now, and this, just the expectation. Brian, when I think about LSU coming here and I think about those warm spring and early summer nights that we're going to have together out there, I just get warm and fuzzy inside, brah. And you need that. You need that on a day where it was, raining cats and dogs overnight, and it's got that cool chill in it, and cool chill in the air. By the way, Rodney Kraft, our resident LSU pest, has been given a 10-minute misconduct. We have a new thing now we call the penalty box over at on our YouTube channel, and when you snap at me and you snap at my heels enough, and you come in and you're like a human hemorrhoid to the folks that are in there, and you say something about Tony Vitello's gone, don't ever mention his name. Hey, listen, Rodney. This is my kingdom, and I will rule it as I see fit. And if you want to have and spend time in the penalty box, and if you want me to put you in a 1-week timeout, I can do that. But I'm giving you, Brian Hartman will be glad to know, you're getting 600 seconds off. Your 10-minute misconduct for you, 600 seconds. For conduct detrimental to the show. So when you come back in, be a little more thoughtful. Quit texting or whatever you're doing in there. Quit it so much. Stop. Learn from Negadave. Negadave is moderating now. Matt, I've taken Negadave under wing. I am going to turn Negadave into a solid sports fan before it's over, Matt, with quality takes.
Well, I think he is all of those things already. He's just takes it to the extreme. Gets a little out of line with his frustrations.
The chef's in the mix and in the hunt. We continue on the other side. The chef had Evan Russell on his latest podcast. I'll let him promote that, and we'll talk about it as we continue. Shout out to my friends at Proper Popcorn. They're finna come on board with the chef. Maybe they'll have the chef down there popping some popcorn. God, the chef! Take a brief time out. Will Heflin joins on the other side. I told you, we're going to drill down. This baseball thing this weekend is getting serious. And Matt, for the record, this is not the same tournament that was played in the Astros ballpark. These are two different Texas tournaments, yes?
Yes, yeah, this is... Yeah, I mean, the same format and basically the same teams, but yeah, it's played in Arlington. But no, it's not the Shriners deal.
Take a brief time.
It's the same place they kicked off the 2024 season on their way to a national championship.
Take a brief time out and come back with more on the other side. We love you. We appreciate you. The great Will Heflin right after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and certified service prior to delivery, so you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Lots of baseball talk on the program of the day. Hey, but I'm going to start with you, Will, where I started with Chris Burke. Will Heflin here. Will and Matt, do your Garza Law extra innings once we get into SEC basketball season back for a second year this year on Sundays. Or if it's a Thursday through Saturday, it's whenever the final game happens, they're going to be on with you live. But I'm holding up my Schaefer Range shirt. How old were you, Will, during the Schaefer Range year, and do you have any recollection of it?
I do. That was when I was just getting to the age where I'm coherent enough to follow along. I remember I loved the Schaefer guy. He was the mobile left-handed throwing guy. Yeah,
that's right. He was fun, man.
And they were running a true 2 QB system.
Matt, is there a chance, Matt, because the great Will Heflin is a ball knower when it comes to football. Is there a chance that that's what happens this year, Matt, that we end up in a 2-quarterback deal? And they just say, hey, we're going to grow. Just let's try to grow these guys.
Probably not in that sense where they're rotating. They might maybe situationally. Yeah. Maybe you bring in Faison for you have like some kind of package of like a run heavy, set for him that you could do to, that would be a way to limit McIntyre's getting hit and give you that running threat. Maybe you do something like that, but I'd be surprised if that happens. But it certainly is something I would like to think that entertain or at least consider.
Yeah, look, I think that the Aguilar decision. Nobody's told me this. It's got to bring a sense of relief internally because now it creates a sense of urgency for GMAC, which I understand that GMAC has taken to this strength coach and is online 1,000% toward gaining that weight, getting bigger, getting stronger. In fact, he's already gained some weight, which is a great sign, by the way. The fact that I gorged myself on pizza last night and am gaining weight is probably not a really good sign. But his gaining weight is a good sign. And, Will, you've been there where you get a little more clarity in terms of your role on a team where you start to see a little more clearly and you get a vision of the finish line. Do you think, Will, that helps all involved here in terms of now we have a little more clarity on the starting quarterback?
Yes, I think it does help in terms of the staff planning for the year. It definitely adds, hopefully, motivation, but also a little bit of pressure for GMAC and some guys that will elevate and some guys that will be tough on them. So we won't know until he A, wins the job and B, actually plays. But yeah, I think some sort of some sort of clarity is certainly what you want headed into a football season.
Because the Joey Aguilar thing, Matt, would have created a kind of a nebulous deal. And look, players want to play. And the two young guys, in the back of their minds would have known, yeah, we're going to do all this, and it's going to feel like our team in the spring, but it's going to be his team when the fall comes. But now they know one of us is going to walk out there and say, hey, we have a 130-year history, whatever the history is. How many Butch Jones numbered the teams? I have no idea, but it's 100 and it's got to be around 130, I would think. There's only been 130 guys that have started that first game in Neyland Stadium. That's a small population of people. And it's got to be an exciting thing, Matt Dixon, for those kids to have that opportunity. And I do think this staff, if that true freshman wins the job, I do think this staff will go with that true freshman if he's clearly better. I like it. I like this turn of events here.
It gives you it creates a lot of intrigue and gives you a lot of that unknown, which fans always view it from the potential standpoint, whereas coaches kind of view it from the negative side of it, which makes it kind of fascinating. But no, it does. I think it lowers your floor for the year because you've got a couple of difficult games early, but it certainly raises your ceiling with those guys, with one of those two behind center.
Yeah, and I go back to the 04 deal. That one kind of happened in camp because the Leak kid his body wasn't cooperating. Matt, this JP Estrella guy, before we get into some baseball at Will, I wrote just a few thoughts in the blog today over at tclub.team. And by the way, the czar, Byron, continues to deliver like the sun in the middle of the day. He's just delivering, shining down on us. I felt so badly for the Estrella guy the other night, Matt. He looked 45 years old out there. That is so sad, man, to see him out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly not healthy and not what he once was, and probably never will be that again, unfortunately. But yeah, you hate that a guy with his ability is just constantly injured and has the foot deals. But that kind of happens. We were just talking during the break about pitchers getting injured with arms. A lot of those big men, they have those foot problems or leg problems, and once you get it, it's not like Tommy John where you kind of fixes those. Almost never get better. They're kind of like the back injuries. They're always kind of lingering.
Yeah, and right now, Ament's got this gimpy lower extremity that was gimpy before even he had the weird landing the other night, which doesn't help, by the way. But you could see the frustration on his face when he hobbled off the floor. He's such a tough kid, though. Catfish Ike is really tore up. He said, Tony, we know you're happy. I read your BS blog that you put out today, mocking me where I told you hope you're happy and got your wish. Probably more happy now than you was before. Ike, when I wrote my blog today, I got to really be honest with you. Now, I love you and I love your show, but you never came to my mind when I wrote that blog today. I truly just want to see these guys and what they have. And I believe in Josh Heupel. And I want to believe in this Halsley guy who's making $1.4 million. They handpicked these guys, and let's see if they can play. Because if they can't, you go into the transfer portal in 2027 and you go get yourself a quarterback. That's modern era college football. And by the way, Ike, I didn't do it. I didn't rule against the guy in court. I didn't go argue against the guy in court. I simply stated my opinion. So, in the immortal words of Nick Nico, what was his name? What was Nico's dad's name, Matt? I'm blowing my bed here. What was that guy's name? It was Big Nick, right? Nick. In the immortal words of Big Nick, and I'll clean it up for radio purposes here on Fan Run Radio, re-effing lax. Ike, re-effing lax. It's not about you, big boy. I was not thinking about you. I simply am putting out good vibes. I'd like to enjoy this upcoming spring and all the fruit it's going to bear, including baseball, which we're going to talk about with the great Will Heflin here momentarily, who's got a new podcast called Weekend Rotation. But I just want to enjoy the upcoming spring practice and all the intrigue it brings. Will you let me? Will you let me? All right, let's move along. So, Will Heflin, your concern level for this baseball team on a 1 to 10 scale after a couple of weekends?
4. Definitely have concerns, but it's also early. It's really early. A lot of people in new roles. It's the youngest position group in the SEC. Let me repeat that. I forget who put that out. It was Aaron Fitt or one of Kendall's guys.
Yep.
Gosh, I feel bad. I'm
Kendall
trying to
over at D1 Baseball. We're giving them the props.
Somebody at D1 Baseball.
Yep.
It's the youngest position group. You don't have a single graduate. The only senior you have is Reese Chapman, who's playing every day. But other than that, Tony, it's true juniors, redshirt sophomores, and sophomores. And in a day and age where college athletics is old because of the transfer portal, this is a young group. So the hitting early season slump, I hope with warmer weather, maybe even better pitching helps, not to take anything away from the arms they've seen, but they haven't seen any premier stuff yet.
Yes.
Which is what they saw all fall because of what they have. So maybe it's one of those deals where they hit better pitching better and they kind of play up to their competition, but it's such a young team and they're all getting familiarized with themselves. So I'm going to go 4. I have concerns. They didn't play clean on Sunday, too many free passes and the hitting slump. But you start hitting the ball, that solves a lot of problems. And then I think, the pitching staff collectively there's been multiple bright spots, and you can kind of see they have what they need there. And defense, until that one day, had been really, really clean. So I'll go with a 4 right now. That may be too nice, too generous. They don't play well this weekend. That'll jump up much quicker.
Will Heflin of your starting rotation podcast. He's going to do Garza Law extra innings with us along with Matt.
First one this weekend, Tony, by the way. We're doing extra innings after the Arlington weekend.
Oh, that's right.
And then it'll be 1 week off, and then we'll be back after the Georgia series, which opens SEC play. So,
wouldn't it be nice for me to know that, Matt, that we're doing one Sunday?
I can't wait to hear from Dave. I know he's going to be the first call, and I just want to hear him talk about Jay Abernathy in the leadoff spot. And if he doesn't, I got to tell you, I'm going to be disappointed.
Dave is, I had a nun in school, Sister Georgiana. I was scared to death of her. She had a great impact on me, though. And her saying was that empty barrels make the most noise. And she said it to me a few times. And I learned from it. I learned not to be an empty barrel, prattling and rolling around like a BB in a steel drum. Matt, what about what Will just said, which we haven't really considered? Past Tony Vitello teams full of showcase baseball players struggled with teams that didn't have the high velo. I think back to a couple Georgia series. I think back to Kentucky and some of the arms they've thrown at Tennessee in the last several years. And they've seemed to struggle with those mid-velo baseball teams. That's not a bad thought by him, is it?
No, it's a good thought. And this, there were a number of times where guys just swung and missed on those upper 80s, low 90s fastballs that were, just kind of weird. But yeah, I think there's some truth to that. And also, Kent State, they didn't hit guys like Tennessee, but they walked them and they were kind of that effectively wild to where you kind of never could get comfortable in the box a lot of times. So no, I think there's some truth there too. Obviously the weather didn't help. And then I just think guys were just pressing too much at times.
Yep.
But there were a number of just really bad approaches at the plate and bad swings in like advantage counts. A number of times where guys hit into unproductive outs where they didn't work counts or try to play situationally. And I am concerned more about that kind of stuff than I am just the overall lack of hitting.
How about that, Will? Your thoughts?
Absolutely fair. And if you haven't watched the latest episode or listened of the weekend rotation, a really smart guy on there used the word tension, has seen tension in the lineup early. And that was something that I hadn't thought of. That makes a lot of sense when you think about basically a bunch of guys who are trying to prove people right on decisions that were made to keep Elander and, themselves as prospects, but also trying to prove people wrong in that they got dropped in the rankings because of no Vitello, stuff like that. So they have seemed a little bit tense, and maybe a little change of scenery this weekend and playing some competition where you're not necessarily a heavy favorite will do them some, favors as well. But we'll see.
You were on that first World Series team, right? And so that created, you guys had tension along the way. And that is an interesting thing about baseball, because it is a tension sport, and it becomes a deal where the tension either lifts you up or the tension can swallow you. You're not the first person that said getting out of here might help these guys. Chris Burke just said that. Is that a thing in that sport sometimes when you're in front of your home crowd, that it's kind of good to he used a term, get in a different building and, get in a hotel and let it galvanize you. Is that a real thing?
Absolutely. And it kind of contradicts itself because Tennessee's been so good at home over the years, and it's such a good park to play in, and any sport you're more comfortable at home, but especially in baseball, there is some truth to that. And that group you just talked about, the 21 team, we didn't lose a single road series the whole year. The only series we lost were at home. And it's like some teams just find themselves playing a little bit better on the road. But then last year, I don't know that we necessarily saw that. And so each team is different. But I think especially early on, they have not played a game away from home. So regardless of whether it goes good or bad, it'll be productive for them because it's doing something new. So they should grow from it.
Hey, Matt, what about that? Because it felt like that team was really pressing last week. We've seen past teams after the super team. That team had to kind of find its face because you want to live up to what's happened before, and they were using some of the same props and doing some of the same things, and it kind of fell flat. And then they sort of found their voice as the year went along. But the whole Vitello leaving thing, that's got to be weighing on Elander. It's got to be hard for him not to transfer that. You've got a new pitching coach over there that I want to ask Will about, and the way that he called the weekend, the last couple of series and these games that we've seen so far. And I want to ask him what the differences are between him and Frank as he sees them so far. But yeah, this there does feel like there's some tension around this thing, Matt, and not celebratory either. But it felt tense that first night as well.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a different vibe, and it could just be this team. There might not be some of the rah guys, the energy guys that some of these past teams have had. Also, I'm not sure who the leaders are. We kind of have a couple of returners who kind of are leaders, but probably more by default than anything. I'm not sure Reese Chapman's like a big, I don't know how.
He's a quiet guy.
He's a great kid, but he's kind of quiet. He's not an energy guy.
Nope.
And I always kind of thought one of the secret kind of ingredients to why the program was so good the past couple of years is they always played relaxed and really loose in clutch moments. And, I'm hoping that continues to carry over, but I don't know if that's the case right now. I do think that's kind of missing because they did seem a little tense where, you're gripping the bat a little too tight, gripping the ball a little too much. I do think that did happen, and that is a little bit of a long-term concern that hopefully begins to clear up, and maybe this weekend and getting away from here does help that.
Will Heflin, who has his own podcast, check it out. You can find it over at tclub.team. What about what Matt is bringing up there in terms of the finding somebody that can help relax these guys. Does that gotta come? That does not come from a coach, right, Will? That comes from leaders on the club, right?
Yeah, 100%. Elander has his hitters more prepared than anybody, or just as prepared as anybody going into a game. I mean, they know exactly what the scouting report is. They know what the plan is, all that stuff. But what Matt just said about gripping the bat too tight in certain moments, maybe not being able to take pitches in big moments. Maybe you're swinging, a little too hard or whatever. Just everything that goes into having a mature at bat. That's kind of the byproduct of a little bit of lack of age and lack of experience and lack of veterans. Like, you think about the guys who have carried the roster or carried the offense the last few years, and it's always a handful of guys. And they certainly don't have to be seniors, but they had all played a lot, right? Like Christian Moore and Blake Burke took their lumps as sophomores, and then junior year, they just carried the load, right? Andrew Fisher had played in the ACC and SEC for 2 full seasons and then came to Tennessee. He had a lot of experience under his belt.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff matters. And I almost think when you're a freshman, ignorance is bliss, right? Well, we don't have any true freshmen out there where you don't really know any better. Like, all these guys understand college baseball and have played it for long enough to know, just enough to be dangerous, but almost it's like you kind of just know enough to get in your own way at this point. So, the sophomore slump is certainly a real thing, and it's something that they can get through. And I think they'll certainly be better as the season goes along. But it's just kind of when you throw all that together into a pot and stir it up, and it's kind of a weird start to the season, right? So we'll see. But I think this weekend will be good for them either way. And hopefully they can get a momentous win, whether that be Friday against number 1 UCLA or win the next 2 against Arizona State and Virginia Tech, who are both solid as well.
Yeah, it's a solid field, Matt. Of all the events they've played in, this thing here feels like it's a solid of one of these preseason fields as the Vols have been involved in. And I'll remind people, a couple years ago, they went out to Arizona and got kind of roughed up in one of these deals. Because I think people are really going to panic if they go like 1 of 2 in this thing. But that happened a couple years ago, guys, didn't it, when they went out to Arizona? Or am I misimagining things?
Yeah, they lost to Arizona in Game 1 and GCU in Game 3.
Thank you. That's
they
right.
were able to win the third one, but that was the opener in 23.
The opener. Yeah, stone cold opener. That's right.
In 24, they were in this tournament. I don't think it was the opener. It was like week 2, but they lost to number 1 Texas in Game 1 and then won the next 2. And that team turned out okay.
Yeah. So it's a really good field. The UCLA club is really a quality team. It's a really quality club. It's going to be...
I want to ask a question.
Go ahead, Brad. Jump in.
Yes, I wanted to ask Will about the starting rotation on the weekends. It's rare to see it remain intact in the same order. Do you think that's got a chance to happen with Tegan Coons, and then you've got Landon Mack and Henry Blanco Saturday and Sunday? Do you think it's going to look like that at the end of the season?
No, because somebody will get dinged up and things will shift around. And I was always kind of in favor of having a lefty sandwiching in between the 2 righties. So we may see that at some point if they want to mix it up. Whichever righty's not throwing as good, maybe move them to Sunday and slide Blanco up a day. But for now, they've all been really solid. I mean, Blanco had too many free passes on Sunday, but heck, I think he struck out 9. And Mack and Coons have just overpowered everybody they've seen to this point. So for now, I don't see a reason to change it. But history will tell you that it will not stay the same, because I think Frank told us his very first year there, and keep in mind he had been a head coach for over a decade and had been in the pitching coach for another decade and a half or so, and he was like, in my 25 years or however many it was, he had one pitching staff where the guys who started the first 3 games of the year stayed in the same spot the entire year. So 1 out of 25 is odds are in our favor for it not to stay the same. But right now, I've been pleased with how it's looked so far, and I like the order.
Yeah, and Will, on your way out here, I got to ask you. You mentioned the pitching, and you can speak to this. Our previous guest couldn't. He can't speak to the pitching. No offense to him. He's absolutely punk and clown, but he's next level. I love him. What about Reynolds and the way he's calling games? Do you see any differences? And the people you talk to, are there differences from Frank, or is he carrying on Frank's ways? Because these guys all have things they want to implement.
It's a good question. I haven't seen anything glaring so far, but as we get more into it, where there's more defined scouting reports on guys, you get into league play and you know the guys you're facing a little bit more. And you get in more tight moments, late game moments, that'll tell us more. But so far, I haven't really paid attention to it or looked for any big differences. It does look like they're pitching in a lot, and that could be partially due to the cold. And also, your first 2 guys rely on a pretty elite fastball, so got to pitch up in the zone at times and put away pitches. I guess that would be the main thing. Looks like they're going a little bit more inside more often, but that was something Frank did. I mean, everybody's kind of got their own flavor when it comes to pitch calling. So I would imagine that he will show shades of Frank Anderson, considering he learned under him for a couple years.
Yeah.
But he will have his own flavor as well. So TBD there, but nothing crazy early on. I mean, I don't have enough intel to tell you one way or another.
Hey, Matt Dixon, what's your sense of that in terms of just differences that these guys have? Any intel or any idea, or is it going to look like much of the same?
No, I assume it's going to be a lot of the same. I mean, Will's the kind of the go-to for that. It was curious. They kept pounding inside and hitting guys despite Kent State just, basically standing on the plate with the big arm guards and not getting out of the way. They didn't adjust to that a ton. But that could just be a weekend. I mean, Kent State, that's what they try to do. So they're kind of like Kentucky in that aspect. Yep. But, we'll see. I assume it'll be a whole lot of the same. And a lot of it just comes down to how good the arms are, and they're pretty dang good out there. So
hey, Dixon, sound like Jeker there. I would much rather have a team that has incredible pitching that's not hitting the baseball at this time of the year than a team that can't pitch a lick. Give me this scenario any day of the week. It's hard to watch. But a team with 0 pitching in that sport, when it gets warm outside, you got 0 chance. With this team, you've got a solid chance to be there in the end. There we are. Gentlemen, Will Heflin, special shout out to you. You'll be in here on Sunday. You're amazing. Chef, you're the man. Anything else you'd care to add here on the way out? The chef has spoken.
It's unbelievable, Andy. That's all I got to say. And I don't know who your boy Ike is, but you can tell him if he needs to come at somebody, come at me. I'm a man. I'm 40,
But
Mike
you're
Gundy
not
style.
40. But you're not 40.
No, I'm not.
Thank you, brother. Love you.
I enjoy that crazy stuff. You keep doing you shepherd.
Hey, by the way, on the way out, and I know last week you didn't drop that podcast after what happened with Wes Rucker. That's your former partner. That's gutting, man. Isn't it amazing to see the outpouring here in terms of the way our fan base and the sports world at large has rallied for their family?
It is, man. And he poured everything into it. And still really don't have words for the tragedy itself, but I hope it does provide some sort of comfort for them to see the way everybody's rallied around it.
Thank you, my man. I love you.
Be good.
Hey, hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. In honor of Wes Rucker, my friends, and the great Beth Parks has just texted me. Wes Rucker Memorial shirts are now in their Knoxville store locations or online, alumnihall.com, to support the family. The proceeds go to support the family. Again, Wes Rucker Memorial shirts are available at Alumni Hall. And another way for us to give back and keep his name alive. And he truly did love being a part of it all. And tonight, Chris Lofton, the weather's going to clear up for him, hopefully, but he's going to be doing a meet and greet, a Tennessee basketball hero who's now a fixture on the Vol Network, and it's so great. I texted Mike Keith when they made the announcement that he had been hired and congratulated him. And Mike and Brandon and those folks over at the Vol Network have been doing just a wonderful job with all their offerings. Just really proud of the stuff they're doing. It's great. But Chris Lofton's going to be, Brian, I want to say at the West location tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the Turkey Creek Alumni Hall.
There you go.
From 6 to 7.
6 to 7. So go out and see Lofty and tell him when you bump into him tonight that I am working on my skills that pay the bills, and I am going to challenge him to a 3-point shooting contest. The only difference is going to be now that I am watching my Lady Vols fervently, I want to shoot with a women's basketball. Or maybe even a soccer ball. Brian, who will you take? Me shooting a women's basketball or him? Who do you have? Me or Lofty?
Well, first of all, the sun's out. The sun will always shine on Lofty.
Go!
And I don't care what ball you use and what ball he uses. He's winning.
In other words, I could be throwing a BB up there, and he's winning. A golf ball up there.
Yes. He'll take on anybody. He'll take on Florida. He'll take on you.
Yes.
He'll take on me.
Queen Kimmy's in action tonight.
Winning.
Queen Kimmy's in action tonight, by the way, and Brian Hartman is going to set the scene for us because the Lady Vols, 6 Eastern time, tip it off in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge, with that woman that looks like an absolute hot mess and a kook. And she looks like she's 39 and holding over there, Kim Mulkey. By the way, she's got an alter ego who calls the shots now in women's basketball by the name of Skim Mulkey. I don't know if people have seen Skim Mulkey over on Twitter. Over on Trilly Donovan's, but that's Skim Mulkey now. Brian, are you in favor? Are you a drinker of Skim Mulkey? Have you ever had skim milk, Brian? Are you a skim?
No, I don't like really any kind of milk except soy milk.
A residential electrician. Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey Tony, good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the .1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
All right, we going to go to the phones. We going to go to the phones. I miss old Prue Prue sometimes, Matt. So this is just sent to me. Pete Nakos is reporting over at On 3. He does a great job. We've had Pete on a time or 20 on here. What? Yesterday I was saying, these guys are going to create their own portal and dare the NCAA to say, I dare you. Now, obviously, anybody could have seen this coming, but check this out. This is from On 3. New. In big, bold letters. Tell me how surprising this is, Matt. Tell me how surprising this is. College football programs are bracing for blind spring transfers amid proposed NCAA penalties. Pete Nakos reports. There's going to be 15 really high-profile guys that blind transfer who don't enter the transfer portal, and it's going to be a horrible look, one Power 4 GM said. A blind transfer. A blind transfer. What does it mean? What does it mean? Well, you just kind of wake up one day and they transfer. Blind transfer. No transfer portal. Matt, you like the new terminology? Blind transfer. There is no transfer portal, but I'm just going to leave the team I'm on for either a bigger bag or more opportunity. And they're not going to be able to stop them, Matt. Nothing's going to stop these people. This is total chaos, what they've done to their sports. It's idiotic chaos.
That's what's going to happen, obviously. Just don't go to the portal. Just show up at another school.
Yep.
That's what Baker Mayfield did back in the day. But he went from a walk-on to a walk-on, which I don't,
which didn't really
I'm sure
matter.
There'll be loopholes and ways around, whatever rules are in place now that obviously don't really matter. But that's what's certainly going to happen.
But hey, they have these rules in place, and Danny White, who you got to love, is following them. Unfortunately, nobody else is. And if you're Tennessee and you can enhance your roster with a blind transfer or two after the spring when you realize you're a player or two short, guess what you do? Guess what you do? You go right out and you get yourself a couple blind, quote-unquote, blind transfer. Because nobody respects the NCAA except us. Everybody knows that it's over for them except us. and it's over for them. I can't believe our AD
who's
said it
going to
out
be the second team that takes a blind transfer? Because obviously LSU and Lane Kiffin will be the first.
Correct. You're exactly right. You know Lane Kiffin's already pulling people off rosters. That's a great point, Matt. Who in this league will be next with it? I'll tell you what, Miami will do it because they could care less. Miami went into their own league, Matt, after kind of not having a plan at quarterback and said, we're going to show you something. Hold my brewski. I'm going to show you something. We're going to do something. We're going to get a guy that's already under contract and pull him away from and watch this Phillips guy twist in the wind. All right, so Brian Hartman, give me a line tonight in that Lady Vol LSU 6 Eastern tip. Do you have a line?
LSU is minus 18.5.
God.
But keep in mind, Texas A&M was nearly a 20-point underdog, and that didn't matter last Thursday. So
it's a volatile sport. Maybe the Lady Vols twice in a row will show the volatility of their sport. Maybe the Lady Vols get on a heater tonight. Did Janiah Barker make the trip, Brian? Any idea?
I assume she did, but I have not seen. I assume that she was going to be playing the next game, but I don't know for sure.
Let's freaking go. 18.5. Let's freaking go. Tonight, 6 o'clock start. I'll be there. Popcorn popped, ready to roll, and then right into my Flyers getting absolutely humiliated by a Rangers team who broke up their team like a month and a half ago. We're going to absorb our third loss to them. Not that you care. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on, and then we'll go to our phones. Over at where? VIP Play. Over at VIP Play tonight, Lady Vols and LSU. $20 bet. You get $100 in bonus bets instantly. It's unbelievable, Andy. The promo code, the phrase that pays, is TN Tony. Live always, 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. I'm going to have a weekend 3-pack picks for you, college basketball style, that I'll be breaking out. So check out the VIP Play app for that, including a power play in the Tennessee-Alabama game for the ages on Saturday, which will be a season beating for the Tide. VIP Play, where everybody gets treated like a VIP. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789. 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. Brian, what is the key for the Lady Vols tonight if they're going to stay in that game and make it a ball game with John Adams, LSU, Lady Bengal Tiger, and John Adams has a crush on that woman that coaches them, and I don't get it because she's 39 and Holden. And, Matt, did you know that her son is a minor league baseball player?
Kramer Robinson played for LSU like in 2016.
Yeah, he played at LSU.
You were aware of that, Matt?
Yeah, I think he was in the Cardinals organization at least to begin his minor league career.
Mm-hmm. Was he a good ball player at LSU?
Yeah, he was good. He was one of those kind of like culture guys where he's like batted at the bottom half of the order, but was like a 3 or 4 year guy that just kind of made your team better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Kramer Robertson.
All right. So Bryce,
she came up here to watch him play in a series one year.
Oh! Did she have her full regalia on?
Great pull, Brian.
Did she have her full regalia on, Brian? And were you, shall we say, crushing from afar? That's what
there was absolutely no crushing.
That's what inquiring minds want to know. Was John Adams? Did she have to rope off her seat to keep John Adams from getting down there? My friend William Pattison. He's got the playbook at Fan Run Radio, followed by Russell W. Smith and my man Bear and Bob Baskerville. We need to get Baskerville on tomorrow talking some hoops. Love you.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Brian Hartman, you're the man. Can the Lady Vols keep that thing close tonight, or are we in for a long one? What do you got, Brian? If you had to lay it down right now and lay it down on wax, Bri, for posterity's sake, what's going to happen in your humble opinion?
I think they could probably hang for a little while in the first half, but I just don't think they will match up well with LSU in the end. LSU will probably pull away in the second half, and I would bet on them to cover that 18.5 points, but I still have a little bit of hope that they can get Vandy on Sunday, on Senior Day.
Brian, if they get waxed tonight, okay, what kind of crowd will be there to greet them on Sunday as they're stuck on 16? I don't know how they've done this. Because when I looked at their schedule and blogged on it a month ago when they came on my dial, I thought to myself, well, there are a couple wins left on the schedule. They'll at least get to 18. They're stuck on 16, Bri. Stuck on 16.
I believe you'll see a healthy crowd there Sunday. They haven't played Vandy at home in 2 years because they've gone away from them as a home opponent.
Which me and Matt can't understand. Me and Matt, we watch that sport from afar, and we didn't realize. Matt, imagine not having Vanderbilt as a permanent opponent for the Lady Vols in the league. What they do in women's basketball. It's an outrage, Matt.
It makes zero sense.
Zero.
That Vandy's not a permanent opponent for Tennessee in every sport.
Say huh? Say what?
I mean, just doesn't. I don't know why they have that formatted differently than the men's.
Yep.
That makes zero sense.
They're a permanent opponent. They just don't play home and away. They play 1 year home, the next year away. One game.
That's what I mean. Like there's 2 or 3 of them in the men, like Kentucky and Vandy. Like it should be the same in women's basketball. Like that, literally, the schedule should be this. They could almost just kind of have identical schedules, just flip home and away each year for the men and women.
The women only play 16 league games. The men play 18.
In your humble opinion, Brian,
again, makes zero sense.
If Kim, a.k.a. Skim Mulkey, Brian, I'm surprised you're not a skim milk fan, man.
No, it's either chocolate milk or soy milk.
Skim milk, man.
Fire the rest of that stuff into the sun.
Are you a skim milk, Matt? Or are you a 1%er? Or do you like whole milk, Matt?
I go 2%.
Go!
Soy or chocolate? What?
How about our mystery caller? Are you a soy milk, skim milk, chocolate milk, rice milk, or almond milk fan? As we get our first caller of the overtime segment in, maybe the first call of the day. What a weird show we've had today. It's been really odd.
Hey, guys.
Mystery caller, what is your milk of choice?
2%.
Matt, are you going to reassess your milk choice now that you and David, which I will call him now, it's my pet name for him, you and David drink the same milk?
No, I've been drinking it for 37 years. I'm not going to change now.
God. David, have you ever had rice milk?
No.
Have you ever had soy milk?
No.
You ever had almond milk?
No.
Brian, have you ever had almond milk? I love almond milk.
I don't like almond milk, but I like soy. I like soy much better. I've had it, but I don't like it.
Dave, do you have a thought on today's program, just in your humble opinion, just because you've been with us here, you've been hanging in. Do you have a thought on what we've laid down here, all the baseball talk, some of the basketball talk, the football conversation, the fact that guys are going to jump into the portal now in the spring and disregard that there is no portal? We're going to have something called blind transfers.
It's just more chaos. No, today's show has been great. Until Will I was concerned about Abernathy being leadoff batter. It took till Game 7 before he was put in that role.
Do you have a thought on Dave's single-mindedness, Matt? Some would almost say simple-mindedness. Not me. I didn't use that term, but it's single-mindedness, Matt. Do you have a thought on that?
Not really, because I kind of agree with him. I was surprised that Abernathy was bad. He's like 7th or 8th in the order the first couple of games, which didn't make a ton of sense.
0.
I figured he'd be either at the top or bottom.
0
but
sense.
No, he's kind of settled in there at the top and gives them something they really haven't had in a number of years, is that kind of on base threat. Really since Jay Charleston. The first couple of years of Vitello.
You know what I like about him, too?
I actually agree with Dave there.
Hey, Dave, what I like about him, and it was a good pull by you, he's got a pretty good eye. As the pitching gets better, I predict he has a pretty good year and gets on base a bunch. Reminds me of your old St. Louis Cardinal teams, Dave. Put that speed at the top of the lineup and create some havoc. And you know what? These guys might not be the home run hitting team we've had in the past, which is even more reason to do that. Put pressure on people and have a runner at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, they're going to have to manufacture more runs this year. Looks like that to me.
Brian, they say that Derek Dooley is a soy milk drinker. Do you have a thought on that, Brian, that you're in the Derek Dooley camp of soy milk drinkers?
I don't drink it. I put it in oatmeal. But, yes, Derek Dooley has good taste.
Ooh, I love me some oatmeal, Bri. You do Quaker Oats, Bri?
Yes, that's what I don't ever drink it by itself, but it's chocolate milk I'll drink by itself, but I use it specifically just for oatmeal purposes.
Hall & Oates' first album cover, that Quaker Oats. It's iconic.
It was overtime sponsored by AARP.
Dave, so you're pretty fired up. The sun's out. Has that helped your mood today, Dave? Because one thing I'm working with Dave on in our coaching, I'm just going to take you inside. People don't realize this with Dave, is living in the moment. You know, Dave has been very reactionary. What we're trying to do now is, have you been able, as we talked about in our last session, to go outside, look in the sky, thank God for that beautiful sunny day, and just kind of slow the day down, Dave? Have you been able to do that? Breathe a little, some of the techniques we worked on?
Absolutely not. Tony, I wanted to. I talked to my buddy, who's his wife over there. The Berg thing? Berg played the other day in front of it because his family came in from Israel.
That is correct. Yes, the Saturday game, his family was from Israel. That's right. His breakout game, if you will, Dave. That's correct.
It wasn't because he was getting better or all that. He's been Barnes' whipping boy, that's for sure. Everybody noticed that Troy Henderson's minutes have totally declined.
Yes, Troy Henderson's minutes have declined. That's correct, yes.
Yes, and I know why now.
Go ahead and break the news. Tell us about it, Dave.
Assistant coach he committed to Fordham, and then decommitted and then committed to us because his head coach got fired. The head coach at Fordham got fired last year. The assistant coach under that head coach who recruited him is now at Iona, and it looks like Troy won't be back next year. He'll be going to Iona. There's been some tampering going on.
Matt, if that is in fact true, does that surprise you, Matt, that kid would jump back to Iona? Or jump to Iona at season's end? Would that surprise you, Matt?
No. There's some dots there. I think he's probably a little bit better of a player than to go that far down. But again, there's familiarity with the coach who recruited him, so that that makes a lot of sense. Well, he's the one who's the AAU teammate of Ament, right?
Correct.
So that's probably why he was brought here to help with that. But maybe he's not quite as good enough for this level. But he could be a pretty good player at Iona, that's for sure.
Dave, do you agree that he's probably, because he's hit a 3-ball here or there, he's played pretty well. What is your sense of him, Dave, as a player at this level, and what does your friends say about him? What do they say behind the scenes with him?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry, Tony.
What kind of player would he predict to be, do you think, at this level if he were to stay?
He's a short 2-guard. He's shooting guard.
Yeah, short or 2-guard. Yeah.
And he's not a point guard.
No.
He don't have point guard instincts. That's what I've been told.
He would be, if he stayed in the program, a down the line, play 10 minutes a night, get him in to shoot some threes and get him off before his defense gets you beat, right?
Yeah.
All right. What about Abram, Dave? Since we're breaking news here, people are asking about Abram and why he's in witness protection right now, and he might be buried more than poor Henderson is. Abram went with the headband, without the headband, and neither look is buying him time. So, what do we think has happened to Abram?
Well, he was sick, but he was just out one game for being sick. He's been dressed out the rest of the following 6 games. He hasn't seen the floor in 7 games. I guess he's such in the doghouse that I really feel sorry for the guy. I mean, I don't feel that sorry. I know he's getting paid. I know he's making some money, so that helps the situation. I feel bad. This is it for him. He's played 21 games this year. It's his last year. This is his college career.
Yeah, he couldn't do the 9-game Matt thing because he's already played 21. I guess he could always go before a judge and say, "Hey, Tennessee didn't give me a chance last year. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court." But Amari Abram, Matt, feels like a kind of a shot in the dark Tennessee took when they swung and missed on some guys. Louisiana Tech, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and then to Tennessee, out of Port Arthur, Texas. Sort of like a vagabond, Matt, which is kind of what he's looked like all year, right?
Yeah, you see a couple of flashes here and there. It's an odd fit why he would pick Tennessee, knowing that he was, best case scenario was coming off the bench and playing 10 or 12 minutes. So why come here to do that for your final year? And he's just, like Dave said, in the doghouse and buried there. There's just that kind of like baseline minimum, like defensive.
That's right.
That you have to bring to even be playable for Barnes, and clearly he just doesn't meet that. And he hasn't met that, and probably isn't a very good practice player. And he's just kind of this year's Darling Stone Dubars, a guy that showed flashes offensively at a different level, but is just an odd fit for this and what this team needs him to be. I don't think they really are accepting of those roles.
I was talking to the great Gary Sturm today, and look, the guy that showed the defensive toughness is the guy that emerged and took all the minutes. And it's the kid from Pittsburgh, Dave. It's the true freshman. He's the guy that's going to win in this thing. Why? Ben, for his offensive prowess. It's because he can guard. He can help you at the 2. He can help you at the 3. And the Evans guy is the guy that's kind of won here from that class and those players, that collection of players, Dave.
Hey, Tony, don't you think Amari Abrams better than Berg, though?
Oh, I think you're splitting hairs. I have no idea. I mean, I haven't seen enough of those two guys to know. Berg just, I don't know. Berg just looks like, Berg to me looks like a guy who can't play. Just, long term. Matt, what's your sense of Berg? I think he's another one of those guys, a diminishing returns guy, the more he's on the floor.
Yeah, I think Abrams could potentially help this team more. Absolutely.
Really?
But
that's interesting.
I mean, at this not now, not at this point in the season, but if you had figured out a way to carve out a role for him, and give him, if he plays, those 4 to 6 first half minutes, maybe he hits 2 threes in a flurry for you. Yeah. But that's just not what his role became. And at this point, I'm not sure you're going to get anything of value out of either of them. Especially in the season.
I don't remember any of us with the post-game duties. Alex, Brian, you, Maury, me, any of us saying that Abram was going to carve out a role in this team as we first watched him play when they were giving him opportunities back early in the year. He just, to me, did not look like a Rick Barnes basketball player, which Matt has a great way of putting it. Strange choice by him, strange choice by his agency. 3-year and 3, Louisiana Tech, Georgia Tech, and Ole Miss. He played for a coach that was like Barnes last year at Ole Miss, with some okay success. But yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting deal. Anything else, Dave?
Yeah. No, just if Amari Abram played Berg 1-on-1, my money would be on Amari Abram.
Yeah, but basketball's not played 1-on-1, man. Come on now. This is not, you're Rick Barnes basketball. You gotta play as knitted as a group. You know that. Like Matt said, if the kid that transferred to Baylor this year played most Tennessee players 1-on-1, Dave, what would happen?
Oh, I know.
Right? Barnes doesn't value that. But he wins a lot of games, but he does not value that. The last tool Barnes really values, Matt, which is weird, is scoring. It's the last tool he values on a basketball floor. It's how he's won all these games.
Those kind of one-on-one matchup deals that we're kind of talking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't value that, and he coaches the way that they're just built offensively. They don't rely on that at all. But again, I think that's kind of what gets him beat in March, because so many of those tournament games come down to just your guy getting the ball and going and scoring. Nothing's set. Nothing's, you're not coming out of a timeout. It's a guy's got to go make a play. And Barnes' teams, he doesn't construct his teams to do that very often. Now, granted, Ament can be that guy this year. But overall, yeah, he doesn't value those types of players unless they can play defense.
Dave, he's throwing you some red meat, but that is the truth about Rick Barnes. That the last tool he values, and it might be ultimately the reason why he kind of plateaus in March. Now, look, getting the Elite Eight is a hell of an accomplishment. 2 years in a row, it's nothing to sneeze at. But the Todd Goldens of the world, people like that, they got scorers on their roster, man. They got guys that can do a little bit of everything on their roster. And that's just not something we value.
Yeah, it's sad. He's got to be a smart. Coach Barnes can't be. He has to know this.
No doubt about it.
Does he do this? Does he bite off his own nose to spite his face? Because he's so stubborn?
He's extremely stubborn. But you know what? He's one of the most successful coaches to ever live. And at this school, he is the most successful coach to ever live.
Okay, Tony, that's true. He's won a lot of games.
Yep.
But let me tell you something.
Yep.
He is not looked at like a Tom Izzo or a Bill Self or any of those guys. He's paid like that, but he's not looked that way. He's looked at as a guy that comes in and does a good job, builds a good program, runs a clean program.
Yep.
But when it comes to the top of the sport, he's not there. Let me ask you all this real quick. Here's another problem with this team. That really never developed a lot of roles. You know how, like last year's team, that they all established roles pretty quick. With Igor and everybody had. This team just kind of looks like there's a few guys that know their role, and then it's just a mixed bag. After that, you agree with that?
I think that's and Dave, thank you. I think that's transfer portal era basketball. Matt, I'm a pretty good coach. That's one of Dave's better calls he's ever had to the show. Admit it, Matt. Admit it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't emotional, and he brought his takes that, or I usually agree with his takes. There's a lot of truth in them. He just wasn't emotional during that call.
It was the way he presents. Dave, listen. back to session number 2. It's not what you say. It's the way you say it. Dave, your unemotional presentation today is something you can learn from. Some of you that like to comment in various forums, including over on our YouTube channel, the several thousand subscribers we have there. Again, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And Small Mike's phone booth, Brian, says Dave is turning into a boring caller now. Do you have a comment for Small Mike's phone booth, who's now entered the chat? Matt, what do you think of me when I get like delirious and silly in the third hour? What is your take on that?
You don't wait until the third hour, especially this week. You've been all over the place. It's just you, Tone.
There's a guy called Small Mike's phone booth in here.
You're a lot like the basketball team. You can go in and out.
Tony's Beanie has entered the chat. There's the real Mr. Tubbs in here. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I'm just glad you're wearing black today as your morning your McKay's there on paper mill.
That rips my heart out, man.
Wonder how long it'll take them to get the stench out of there after they close it down.
There is.
You got some good lines today, Brian.
You're ripping them off. Brian, I was in there the other day. And somebody walked by me and literally smelled like McKay's. It's that. Matt, do you know what I'm talking about? That smell that he's talking about? It's that.
Yes,
it's not smoke. Smoke has its own smell, but it's that, I don't know, it's that kind of hippie-ish.
The hippiest.
You haven't showered in 3 days.
Yeah, the musty
smells like a beanbag almost that somebody's
that weird like
been seeping on.
That book smell too.
Yes.
Yes. It's all that kind of combined into one aroma that is McKay's.
And
there
got
could be a
me
scented candle of McKay's.
I was on my way to the bathroom.
Sickos.
I was on my way to the. I was huffing that little thing at the urinal that they have at the bottom of the urinal, trying to get that smell of that person out of me that had just crossed my path.
Sounds like a widespread panic concert.
A lot of crossover there, Brian. That's another good pull by you.
So I was down in Atlanta one night after the Vols played, and a jam band had just played. And I talk to people, right? So I'm talking to a parking lot attendant. And I say to him, I said, so who makes the biggest mess? Like when you guys are doing what you're doing. He goes, we had Fish here. This was back in Anastasia's heyday. I don't know if Fish is still out there doing what they're doing, but anyway. He said those people vomit, poop, urinate, sometimes all at once, everywhere in our facility. He said we literally have to take high pressure sprayers and hose it out. Hose it out. He said, it's utterly disgusting. He said, those people are disgusting. I said, so worse than college football crowd? He goes, what? He said, college football crowds are a walk in the park compared to the jam bands. He said the jam bands are everything goes in our parking facility. Hoosier Vol Ryan, this is better than talking about Lady Vol hoops. Dixon, any final thoughts here on the way out? I want to go enjoy some of the day. It's going to be a crazy weekend around here. I'm on the 7-day.
It's been awful outside.
Brian said it's sunny out. Brian, is it sunny out? Is the sun out your way, Bri?
Yeah, the sun has come out.
See, Matt?
Yes, it has.
Is the sun out your way, Matt?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. It's trying to.
Traffic getting thick down on Cumberland Way. It's time to go walk in the park and time to play. And Small Mike's phone booth has entered the chat. We've got Calhoun's Carp in here right now. Sammy Baby. Hoosier Vol. Back to our phones. Are they taking a shot at me, Matt, with back to the phones? A lot of these. Basilio's beanie, that's a shot at me. Basilio's robe was in here.
They're all shots at you, yeah. Which, granted, you have gone back to the phones many times today. It's just been for guests like Heflin and Berkey.
Yesterday on the way out, I did some AM, what do they call that? ASMR or AMSR, Matt? The thing where you go like this on your microphone. I was doing some of that.
Please don't do that, Tone.
Big dog.
That stuff, that really weirds me out. My wife's kind of into that to go to sleep, but that stuff weird. That weirds me.
That weirded me out too. I was cringy.
Please don't do
Tina
that.
likes that
Especially
stuff.
Thinking about you trying to do that.
Tina
Tone.
did it. I was doing it to the Big
after
Dog. I was doing it to the Big Dog in West Tennessee yesterday. You want to hear a little sample?
No, I don't actually. No,
the Big Dog is cringing himself.
No, I would rather talk Lady Ball basketball.
The Big Dog sent me $100 tip yesterday. Said he put it on like a replay thing, and all he could hear was me going, Bryce, should I do it or no?
No, he sent you that $100 tip to make sure you never did it again.
For $100, you should do it in private to him, like off air.
Big Dog said I was awesome at it. He said it's ASMR is what it's called, but in Tony's case, AMSR. He said, and by the way, Tony was awesome at it. All right, somebody's telling me to go back to the phones. I'll get another call in against my better wishes. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony.
There he is. The Ridge Runner.
What's up, brother? Dude, it's Upstate Sam now, brother.
Love it.
Hey, Tony, these Maroons in this chat, are we playing the same tournament that we did last year in Texas? Is it at Minute Maid Park?
No, different. It's a different tournament. We've played in this one, I think, 2 or 3 years ago.
The 2024 team
played in Arlington.
Off there.
Played in Arlington.
Yes.
And who all's in this one? UCLA and who else?
We got UCLA, we got Arizona State, and then after the Sunday game, and Virginia Tech, who's got a salty ACC program, been pretty good for the last several years.
Well, I'd like to go out there just to see some Arizona State women, if you catch my drift. But anyway, Cody, the Berkey's just next level, bro. And for y'all to have, and kudos to Brian and Matt, because they all contribute. You know, I was hating on them the other week, but dude, for y'all to get Watson in there and then Berkey, I mean, it's just. And the thrill. I mean, it's next level, bro.
Oh, it's been a totally illiterate week, and then we wrap it around some stimulating conversation that only we can. Absolutely next level.
But, dude, real quick, 'cause I know y'all are leaving.
Yep.
That game, listen, I've been feel this the past several years with Barnes. We're going to the Final Four.
That
this
game
year,
was awful
I'm just
the other night. Wasn't that unforgivable, how bad that game was? That game pissed me off eternally. I'm sorry.
How many times can you watch this kid that scored 8 points in every other game?
And not put somebody else on him and not go out there right and not defend him?
Just go to a zone or something. I mean, how many times are you going to watch the guy go in there and lay it in?
Hey, Matt, I had a dream last night that Rick Barnes, we had a score, and I'm not kidding. I did dream this. This is how much it's a part of me. I dreamed, Matt, we triangle and two'd somebody under Barnes in the tournament. We just tried something different, Matt. I really did. I'm serious.
Do you break down these dreams with your shrink, Tony?
Hear it, Matt just said, what tournament? Hey, what about my work with Dave? Go ahead, Sammy. I want you to admit it right now that I'm a pretty good coach.
Hey, if that's Tony, his call today, I was like, damn, I'm actually agreeing with this guy.
See? And it was the way he's just calm now. We've worked with him. We've worked on breathing techniques. He now has a few words when he gets into his safe space that he can use. So we're going to talk him through the post-game shows.
Yeah, now all he needs, Tony, is some medicine. I can get him some medicine.
Could you help him? What would you recommend? What kind of hoo-hoo would you recommend for him?
Maybe a sativa forward, an indica forward flower, or maybe some gummies so he can, chill out. But
you better be careful. Tony, hey, how far away do you live from Berkeley County over there in South Carolina?
Berkeley, I don't even know where Berkeley County is.
Because, Matt, I have a feeling that if this gentleman here were to cross paths with downtown Danny Brown, it would not be pretty. I think Danny Brown would smell him from a mile away, Matt. What do you think?
More than a mile.
And I don't mean in a McKay's kind of way either.
In a fish kind of way.
Sammy, have you ever been to McKay's, and have you ever smelled that smell, to quote the great Skinnerd back in the day? Can't you smell that smell? Because once you smell that smell at McKay's, you can't unsmell that smell.
The smell that surrounds you. Hell yeah! Tony, yeah, it's like old books. It's just crap that's been sitting there for a while. But Tony, like Dave said, Barnes is a fantastic human. He's, and all this stuff, but it is just, to be an elite coach, you can't have slip-ups like that. You can't go into the tournament and get embarrassed by the likes of Oregon State.
Sammy, I'm going to have to take you under wing now, I think.
No.
Too emotional. Tony. Breathe. Thank you, Sammy. Say, when you breathe, we can have a nice dismount there, and you have a good day. Thank you, Sammy. Matt, what do you think of this thing? What do you think of me coaching callers? Right on the spot, Matt.
It's a nice new stick by you.
Thank you. What about the penalty box? The fact that we had a gentleman serve.
I love that. That's really good.
We put a gentleman in it gave him a 10-minute misconduct today, and then he came in, Brian, and said he was resigning from the thing, and then he popped back in when you started talking about Kim Mulkey and LSU because it changed the pH in his blood, and then he came back in and said, "Oh, that's right, I'm supposed to self-ban here." It kind of reminds me of Dwight Schrute, shunned, unshunned. Because he was shunning the show.
It sounds like the NIL and the portal and all this stuff that's new in college athletics is more organized than everything that goes on in that chat room.
God! Brian does not like the chat borders. What is up with that, Matt?
Well, it's just a free-for-all in there, and there's almost no structure. So
is that why I like it so much and identify with these idiots?
Yes.
You're amused by it.
Yeah, you're amused.
You're
by
easily
the
amused by
chaos.
stuff like that. So,
hey, big dog. Matt, what you think I have a future in it, Matt?
I mean, if Big Dog says you do, absolutely. It's not for me. It kind of creeps me out.
Till we meet again for all those. I went upstairs yesterday after I did 7 minutes of it. And I went upstairs and
I'm giving Brian an A+ today. Brian's had a couple of really good singers in one line today. Brian's been the MVP of the show.
No question. No question. Brian, you've dominated. And a day where Berkey came in here and was awesome. I've got to say the chef was cooking it up today. The chef came in there, came in hot. And the chef was cooking. And then Brian Hartman, you've been incredible. That McKay's line, that stands, man. Because Matt introduced it. Because it's too painful for me to bring up.
I've got good setup guys
That's
today.
It's my favorite store in these United States of America, McKay's is. And our local location's closing. I love McKay's because McKay's speaks to me. You know why? Because McKay's has a little mix of everything. They got people from all walks of life there, so it's great people watching. Not to mention what happens with your is it olfactory, Matt? What is that? When your sense of smell, is that the olo something? Because I just smelled myself. I just shifted in my chair, Sammy, and I smelled myself. What's that mean, Sammy? When you smell yourself. The olfactory thing. Brian. Okay, Bri, I want to know right now, because I'm getting ready to go over to VIP play as we jump off here, because I'm feeling pretty good about my Flyers getting hammered tonight. I'll make some blood money, as Bina goes, I don't do blood money. I don't do blood money. All right, Bri. You tell me right now on the way out. Did you say that line's 19.5, Bri? Or 17.5?
It's close to 20. It's 18.5.
Jeez Louise. Matt, do you
Lay the
say
point.
Do you
Lay the
say
point.
Skim Mulkey tonight in her leopard skin, whatever her leopard skin get up, 39 and holding? Do you believe that Skim Mulkey tonight takes it easy on Queen Kimmy? Or do you think, Matt, she takes her and drags her into Neverworld tonight? What do you say, Matt?
I don't think she takes it easy on her. Something tells me those two personalities don't click very well.
Yep.
That's probably a very quick handshake exchange.
McKay's got $4.5 million for their building. I want to say right now to somebody that hates this show, hates me, I just want to put this out there one more time. My price tag is $4 million to walk away. You'll never hear my voice again on Knoxville airwaves, and I will take the money. So what Ann did out there at McKay's, I would do here. She got $4.5 million. I would take $4 million, take it to the house. My boys here who are on me are Gold Circle guys. They get a cut. But if you're interested in silencing me, I can be bought. You can buy my silence. Matt, do you think I'm kidding?
Only about halfway. Yeah, you're partially kidding. Yeah, but not.
Not
there's
totally
some
kidding.
truth there.
Not to quote the great Ted DiBiase, everybody has his price. I don't know what I'd do with myself, though. Brian Hartman, What was your line about McKay's again? They're going to have to burn it to the ground?
How long will it take to get that stench out of there for the next tenant?
I would think, Brian, they would take that thing and raise it. I don't think there is.
Well, that might actually be a good idea.
I don't think there is getting... Matt, I don't think you could get that stench out of there. Do you, Matt? I'm being serious now, and I love that place.
I don't know how you do. It's kind of just built into the place now.
There aren't enough of those lava rocks in the world. You ever tried those lava rocks? As a junk collector, I'll tell you this, they really do work. You can get must, stench, the smell smoke out of things. I don't know if you can get the McKay smell, but these lava rocks, they're called, hang on, what are they? Let me look this up real quick for you. I might be people like when we do a little life talk here. Lava rocks that take smell out of things. What are they called? All right, these are called Gonzo Odor Eliminator. Gonzo. They really do work. If you don't get them wet, you can use them forevermore. What you do is you take them on a sunny day and put them outside. I've got them in the basement here because trust me, I'm a junk collector. And you take them outside and you charge them back up, and they really do pull stuff out of the air. They really do work. Gonzo Odor Eliminator. Does anybody else have any history with Gonzo eliminators? You ever tried them, Matt, those lava rocks? Because you have pets. Have you ever tried them, Matt? They help with our pet odor, too. Those Gonzo odor eliminators.
I have not, but I might try.
Yeah, they really, really, really work. They really... And what I do is I brought bought on an auction site the other day a bunch of books and sheet music from somebody, and it was all smoked up, you know. And you got to get that smell out of things if you're going to resell. And so I have a sealed container with 2 of those in there, and I'll leave it in there for like 6 weeks, and it will pull the odor out of there. It really does work. But back to our phone said cleaning works pretty well. I don't like cleaning. Till we meet again, Brian, call the shot, man. Lady Vols going to win tonight? Go win tonight.
No.
No?
No.
What are the chances they win? Say out of 100.
I'd say 2 chances, none and less than none.
Shit. Brian's hot today, Matt.
You act like you're surprised that I'm hot today, like I'm not capable of it.
I didn't say. Hey, whoa.
He's just Larry. He's just Larry
surprised.
He's just Larry Vauding us.
Yes.
Lady Vols have LSU right where they want them.
That's exactly right.
Adam Golding, you. What's that guy's name? Mike Gold.
Rural Vol said Basilio's urinal cake is the next account incoming at YouTube. Because I literally, when I smelled that person the other day, I'm not going to say whether it was a man or a woman. I don't want to do that to anybody. They know who they are. But they had the, shall we say, oil of McKay on them. And I literally went in there searching for the little crimpet in the urinal and was just huffing it, trying to get that smell out of my nostril. Do you think any other show in the world, Matt, will drop content like that?
No. One of one.
Till we meet again.
Bad enough you do it, much less admit it on air.
TGMD, I love you. Hey, you got to get that smell out of your nose because Matt knows the smell. Matt is a great writer, and he's extremely descriptive, and he hit it. It's a combination of things, but when you smell it, it usually... Isn't that funny about scents, guys? You can smell something you haven't smelled in 50 years, and you go, man, I'm right back in whatever a smell is. Isn't that interesting, Brian? You ever notice that about our olfactories and how they work?
Yeah, somewhat.
Like a smell that just kind of takes you back. Brian, you would have enjoyed the Mushroom House when they were filling the horse manure, and then they would take it and heat it up to they would take it and heat it up north of around 200 degrees and get some impurities out of it. That had a certain smell. But anyway, love y'all. Thank you, guys. Gals. Appreciate you. tclub.team. Check us out today. There's lots of good stuff there in our blog. Tomorrow, there's going to be lots of great stuff on the blog. Throtaji is working on a great piece. Matt will have a little one-sheeter on the Alabama game. Griff will have his Griffin's three-pointers. I might not get a word in edgewise. And remember, Will Heflin, the chef, will be cooking it up along with Matt Sunday after the season finale for the baseball Vols. But I want to thank Chris Burke. I want to thank the chef. I want to thank all the wonderful callers that joined us today. I want to thank Catfish Ike for mixing it up with me. I want to thank my friends at Alumni Hall for being such great citizens in our community that they're honoring Wes Rucker. And you can go ahead and buy one of those shirts either online or at their Knoxville locations. Also, Chris Lofton tonight is appearing from 6 to 7 at the Alumni Hall location out at Turkey Creek. Till we meet again for all those. So go out and have you a night. Go to Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat a little lunch or dinner rather before or after that, or go out to Calhoun's, which is there as well. But until we meet again, I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a Dioc Goodone. And it is really, really, really a wonderful, wonderful blessing to get a chance to be with you each and every day. And one that I don't take lightly, by the way. Thanks. Enjoy yourself. Let's see what this is. Is this today's show? We had some dead air there. Let's see if I can find the beginning of today's show. Oh, I'm going to do it over here. What am I doing? I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, man. All right. You found the Tony Basilio stream at tonybasilio.com or on your
turn the ball over. In the first 11 and a half minutes of the second half against Vandy, they had no turnovers. And that's when they got out to the
foray into the greatness that is Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. Matt, this basketball team just makes zero sense to me, as in zero. I was really starting to believe, Matt. I really was.
Or they make a ton of sense, and this is just who they are. They're just going to be wildly inconsistent and go in and out a couple of times throughout every game. That's just kind of who they are. And when you're so reliant on two guys to carry you, one of them being a freshman, and the other being kind of a guy that's kind of forced to play point, you're just gonna be inconsistent, and that's you've played a team that's going to make the tournament that was playing at home, and they were kind of desperate, and they had two guys go off.